Oink, 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 what's that? It's Pig Nuts coming to you live from the pig pen. It's Piggy himself, and I am sorry for the absence. Not sure you really cared, but I am back, and we have a lot to discuss, starting off with the Gators getting worked by the Tech, the Longhorns, FSU getting trampled by Notre Dame, and surprisingly losing to Georgia Tech. I know no one cares about my college football updates, but those are the college football updates. Next up, we have Who's Back? Who's back? Starting off with the champion of the week, Kaufman. Mazel's. Huge mazel's to Kaufman. Very, very happy for you. Wishing you a life of happiness and health and all the good things. Excited for the bachelor party. Excited for the wedding. Big ups to Kaufman. Next up on Who's Back, we have a huge Who's Back to King Trump. King Trump is back after absolutely curb stomping Kamala and the Democrats. And while he may be a vile, repulsive, lying, cheating, felon conman, he is kind of funny, and the American people would rather vote for a significantly flawed, funny white man than a pretty annoying black Indian woman, as we can see. The Democrats, who are clearly on the dead list this week, are truthfully just big nerd, whiny losers, and no one wants that, including me. They used to be the cool party compared to the tight-laced, prude Republicans, and that's just no longer the case. They control the media that people actually listen to, whether that's Joe Rogan or Elon Musk on Twitter, which was huge election interference, by the way, the $1 million thing and the pumping all of his stuff out and taking the Ad America account and putting that out. But whatever, good for Elon. If you have trillions of dollars, you should be able to do whatever you want and rig an election if you want to, and good for him. Good for Joe Rogan, good for Trump, bad for the Democrats. They need to have some way of making a cooler media. They have, like, what's his name? The black guy who almost became president, who almost became governor in Florida. Andrew Gillum has a podcast. Like, that's so not cool. There's no cool Democratic stuff. So we need to have cool social media somehow. It's hard to do when they're all losers, but they have to figure out a moderate Democrat guy to start a podcast because they're getting worked. If you go look at the podcast rankings, the top 5 are all conservative. No one's watching MSNBC anymore. No one's reading newspapers except for our parents. And that's the reason why, even though the Democrats run those, nobody is voting for that. So it sucks. They also ran a shit campaign. Biden should have dropped out earlier, and he didn't, which fucked everyone because there couldn't be a primary because they had to give all the money to Kamala because she's the only one who can have the money, and they're not going to return the money. And she was the least likable vice president for many years, and then they just pushed her in, and they said, hey, you guys should like her now, and everyone pretended to like her, even though no one liked her. So it's tough. And then she went on The View or wherever I think The View, what is that going to do for you, instead of Joe Rogan? And they asked her, are you going to change anything from Biden? And she says, no, I wouldn't change anything. You're basically just running on, hey, I'm not Trump, and that doesn't do anything, especially when you call half the country or more Nazis and losers and weirdos, and you're dumb and you're racist, and people don't like that. People would rather have some con man white guy tell them, hey, you guys are cool, even though behind their back, clearly he thinks that they're also losers, but at least he's being nice to them to their face. We're smug assholes, and we're saying that we're way better than you, and we're smarter than you, and we know what you should do, and just shut up and vote for us, and just, you guys are dumb and racist, and just shut up and do it. And that didn't work. And the Democratic Party is fucked now. Trump's going to put in 2 Supreme Court justices, all of, abortion and gay rights and immigration, et cetera, et cetera. Those are all pretty not back but not dead. And actually pretty dead, probably. The Supreme Court's going to be like 7-2 forever. We didn't pack that. Not saying we should have. But, it is what it is. And it's going to take many years to change back. And everything's going to be fine. And hopefully Trump's great. I hope that everyone wants that. And, the first time around really wasn't that horrific. Do I think it's bad for America overall to morally? Yeah. But who am I to judge morals? So I wish him all the best of luck, and I think in 2028, the best chance we have is running Gavin Newsom, who is a complete degenerate himself and a wild man and a good-looking white man. And he used to date Donald Trump Jr.'s wife, Kimberly Guilfoyle, so we can tell him, how's my dick taste, and that'll be funny, and people will like that because we live in an idiocracy. And that's what gets votes. And he's kind of already trying to go more moderate, I think, because he realizes he's going to run in 2028. And he's like cleaning up the homeless people and the drugs, and he's making it where you can't steal as much from the stores. And he did that debate with DeSantis, which was kind of weird, but whatever. He did fine. And I think he'll be good. He'll be fine. He'll be fine. And is he a liar and a cheat and a weirdo as well? Yes, but he could be our liar, cheat, weirdo. And that's what you need. You do not need someone who's smart or someone who has dignity or any of that. You need showbiz. And we have zero showbiz. And that's why we lose, and that's why we're losers. So, Trump up. On to who else is back? Crypto. Crypto's back. Bitcoin's at 80K. So good for Vivek and everyone else with Bitcoin. I have all my worthless NFTs that I think are still worthless, but hopefully Trump pumps those up too. I don't think Trump knows what crypto is. He says that we can just hit a button and all the national debt will be gone from crypto. I don't think he knows how that works, but it doesn't matter because dumb people online are just buying it because Trump said it's cool. So good for everyone with crypto. Next up on who's back, we got the January 6th defendants. The January 6th defendants are all going to get pardons. So good for the Bob's Burgers guy, good for the January 6th, everyone else who went into the Capitol. Trump's going to pardon you, so good for you. It was worth it, and what a fun time you had. Bird flu. Bird flu's back. Canada's first human case of bird flu is detected. So that's good, especially when I get into who is our new health czar, and I'll get into that shortly. Who's dead? Who's dead? We got Peanut the Squirrel. Peanut the Squirrel's dead. And if you don't know who Peanut the Squirrel is, that was a big part of our Idiocracy election at the end. The last week of the election, huge Peanut the Squirrel stuff going on. And he is an he was an Insta-famous squirrel named Peanut, P''nut. And he was rescued by Mark Longo in 2017, and the New York State Department of Environmental Conservation did like an Elian Gonzalez raid into this guy's house after an anonymous complaint that he had illegal wildlife and maybe wasn't vaccinating them. So they got the squirrel, Peanut, who I'll show you in a second. They also got this raccoon named Fred who was living with him, but no one cares about the raccoon named Fred for some reason. But they got both of them under the guise that they may have rabies and euthanized both of them. And social media went bananas and people were planning Squirrels Live Matters protests. And memes were being made, and Republicans legitimately were saying that liberals are going to kill your pets if the immigrants don't already eat your pets. And it was like crazy, such stupid stuff. But Peanut the Squirrel was like a big deal. There was like a bunch of memes about Peanut the Squirrel. Longo came out and said people were jealous of his OnlyFans account. And I don't know if that's for the squirrel or for him, but it's a weird thing to say. Like I said, they also took the raccoon Fred. I will show you. So here's the squirrel. Cute squirrel. You know, look at him. He's like, I have such a life ahead of me. I'm definitely not going to get kidnapped and euthanized. And then look at Fred. Fred was also cute. His little pup cup. He's dead too. Anyways, Fred and Peanut, they're dead. Next up on Who's Dead, Nikki Haley. Nikki Haley, an elephant never forgets, and neither does Trump. And unfortunately for Pocahontas, Trump remembers what you said, and even though you bent the knee and at the end you begged for forgiveness, it's a little too little. It's too little, too late. Get up, you're embarrassing yourself. You are not part of the administration. You are fired. Next up, we got Ben. Ben is dead, unfortunately, and this is a sad story. America's favorite golden retriever, Ben, passed away after a battle with cancer, and the sports world mourned as Kurt Herbstreit gave a great eulogy to his best friend on College Game Day. Now, he has already replaced him with another golden retriever. I don't know the stable of golden retrievers that Kurt Herbstreit has, but Ben was a great one. Everyone loved Ben. R.I.P. Ben. Who's not back but not dead? We got Joe Biden. Joe Biden, surprisingly, after the election, sounds and looks great. I don't know what he was doing or if this was a huge coup and he was just in the pockets of the Republicans and it was like a huge conspiracy. But he was like Kevin Spacey at the end of Usual Suspects, where he was like rambling and incoherent, and then he like started limping, and then the limp just went away, and now he's just fine. Maybe he runs in 2028. Who knows? Biden's back. Not back, or he's not back, but not dead. He's still not back. Next up on Not Back, but Not Dead, we got Making America Healthy Again. It looks like RFK, Robert Kennedy Jr., is going to be America's new health czar under Trump, and a man with a parasitic brainworm who killed 70 children in Samoa by telling them not to take the measles vaccine will be in charge of childhood health most likely. And while I like cereal having less preservatives, taking fluoride out of water, which is being widely discussed and would rot all of our teeth out, and getting rid of vaccinations is not ideal in my opinion, but what do I know? Make America Healthy Again. Next up on Not Back But Not Dead, we got the Taliban. And the Taliban will attend a UN climate conference for the first time, which They took over Afghanistan in 2021, and the truth is, I haven't heard many bad things about the Taliban. And it's hilarious that they care more about climate change than we do. So the Taliban is up. Good for the Taliban. Stat of the day. Stat of the day. Only other president to win non-consecutive terms. Quiz. Pause it now and tell us your answer. Grover Cleveland. Grover Cleveland. A man who had the first person ever to have a presidential sex scandal, Grover Cleveland. Of his own. In July of 1884, the mainstream media reported that Cleveland had fathered, and the mainstream media at that time was like one newspaper. This one guy reported that Cleveland had fathered a child out of wedlock, and most assumed that that would be curtains for his career, but he decided to own up to it. His campaign back in the day said that he was thinking about lying about it, but then he decided to own up to it. And as you can see, the American people clearly, in a time like this, you can see that we like to forgive and forget because we're all pretty flawed. And as long as you admit it, and even if you don't, as long as you're funny and entertaining and not a black woman, we're going to forgive you and vote for you. So Grover Cleveland got elected, the first Democrat to win after the Civil War. A lot more fun facts about Grover Cleveland that I have. Let's see. I can only give you some. I can talk about Grover Cleveland for days, but we don't have days. He was, like I said, the first Democrat elected after Civil War in 1885. He was our 22nd and 24th president and was the only president to leave the White House and return for a second term 4 years later, except for now, Donald Trump. He won the presidency with combined support of the Democrats and the Reform Republicans, the Mugwumps. Maybe the Mugwumps make a return. Now we have the MAGAs. We get back the Mugwumps, and maybe the party becomes, what it should be again. So, by the way, that's the term you need to type into the chat. If you want more pig nuts, I need at least 50% participation. People say Mugwumps in the chat. If I get 6 out of the 12, then I will do another pig nuts next week. So the Mugwumps disliked the opponent, James Blaine of Maine, and they crossed party lines and voted for him. He was a bachelor. He was a bachelor, having kids out of wedlock. Just came into the White House and no wife. And he didn't like being in the White House because he wanted to go out with his friends and go to dinners, and he couldn't do that anymore. It seems like a very cool guy. Not going to get into why he didn't get elected, but there's tons to read afterward and then reelected. But there's tons of stuff to read about Grover Cleveland. Good for Grover Cleveland. Great guy. Guess good for Trump too. Now we got 2 presidents to ever do that. Picks for the day. The Bears. The Patriots are at the Bears. The Bears have been playing so. Caleb Williams has been on the decline. I think today is a boost game for Caleb Williams. -6 Bears. Like that. I think they get back on track. -4 Bills at Indianapolis. Joe Flacco has been faltering. He's not I don't think they should have gone away from Anthony Richardson anyway because he's clearly your first-round pick. You need more time with him. Josh Allen wasn't that great at the beginning either. To go to Josh, what are you going to do? You're going to get a wild card seed? Doesn't make much sense, but Bills -4. I think Bills are the way better team. Also like Bills-Bears moneyline parlay. It's like +102. That's free money. Bijan anytime TD and Taysom Hill anytime TD in a parlay. I like that too. We got a game going on right now. Chuba Hubbard's running for 9 million yards, 17-7. Panthers, Giants in Germany. Let's go to our matchups because Weisberg loves to talk about the matchups. All right, I'm getting killed by Kaufman. I lost that. Looks like Weisberg's going to beat Natsky. Good win for you. Vivek's going to beat Saul. Avi Shemmer in a battle. Give me Shemmer in an upset. A 3-point underdog. Isaac versus Gold. Give me Gold there. And then give me Gins beating Danny. That's what I have. That's Pig Nuts. Have a day.